You talk about it being a sales process, and I know that we're going to get into the detail of that, but a part of this is storytelling. What happens, what mindset shift happens when I can master the art of storytelling, which is not telling lies, but talking about me and my skills and my background and what I can do, but in a very convincing manner so that the listener gets the message that I'm trying to convey? What changes?
So storytelling is really closely linked with confidence, right? If we think about great storytellers, Barack Obama, or people like Mother Teresa, William Shakespeare, Michael McIntyre, right? Such a funny but great storyteller. And they tell their stories with confidence. And I always say, people go into a job searching process and say, well, I feel really underconfident. I don't know what to say. And I say, well, you should feel super confident because the subject is you
Mm-hmm.
and no one knows you better than you do. So, we should be, we should feel confident that we are the lead storytellers in our life and we have the autonomy to take that story wherever we want it to go. So really embracing the storytelling element will enable job seekers just to take their interactions offline and online, live in interviews or even via email into a higher caliber of experience.
Got it. And I'd pause on this as well. There's a really, really good communication coach called Vin Go, who's on LinkedIn and YouTube. He's well worth checking out. He's just spent his whole career now telling people how to communicate better. And just on communication, I mean, I've interviewed thousands of people, and you're right. A good story told well can be very compelling. However, some people drift into rambling, like some people, you just hear them start and you think, oh my gosh, yeah, we're in for 10 minutes now of CV walkthrough and their first pet, and you just lose track and you lose the will to live. So how do you bridge the gap correctly between bare facts, staccato, no story, no emotion, no background, and stop going into the rambling, losing track, hours of monologue? How do you get the balance right? What do I need to bear in mind?
Okay. Well, every good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. We as humans like to process things in threes. It feels very good to us to process things into three components. When we have 5, 6, 7 things to remember, it can become overwhelming. And one feels a bit brief or flat. So having three hooks or elements to your story is really, really important. So it gives it a beginning and a middle and an end. And I would say everything you said in that initial delivery is really important. So it isn't just about detailing facts. People like facts, people like data. But what gives it integrity and congruence is emotion behind it. It's being able to say how we are feeling and connecting data and emotion together. And that makes a good story.
Yeah, the power of three. There's many, many examples. I mean, one that immediately comes to mind is Tony Blair's famous speech. I think it was when he was trying to get into power, or he just got into power, but he said education, education, education. He just repeated the same thing 3 times, and that
Mm-hmm.
power of three, as you say, is very compelling.